Hi dear, welcome back to Timeless Wisdom. Dorothy's own home, once her sanctuary, had turned into a prison, packed with boxes blocking the hallways, rooms she could no longer enter, and a daughter pleading with her to consider assisted living. I felt like a stranger in my own house, Dorothy admitted to me, tears welling in her eyes. But then everything shifted. Dorothy stumbled upon 3 decluttering rules the professionals insist you must never break. In just 1 month, Dorothy didn't simply clear out her home, she took her life back. And what she discovered completely challenges the standard advice given to anyone trying to declutter after 60. If you're buried under decades of belongings and feel hopeless, pause for a moment, hit that like button, because what I'm about to share might just be the key to keeping your independence. And if you're ready to finally reclaim your space, subscribe and join us on this journey. Dorothy's experience proves it's never too late to begin again. Here's the truth nobody's telling you. Most decluttering advice comes from 30-something minimalists who've never faced the unique struggles you're living. They recommend starting small, just a junk drawer here and there, and taking things slowly. But they've never had to sift through 40 years of marriage, make painful choices about a loved one's belongings, or try to fit a lifetime of memories into a smaller home. Marie Kondo never had to choose between keeping her children's baby clothes or her mother's cherished china. The so-called experts don't realize that every object in your home holds a story, preserves a memory, or represents a piece of your soul. That's why following their generic methods often leaves you even more overwhelmed. Dorothy tried it their way at first, painstakingly clearing out 1 drawer at a time, but the clutter only seemed to grow more dangerous. It was like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, she told me. The gentle, slow approaches weren't just ineffective, they left Dorothy feeling stuck. But then she found something that changed everything. 3 forbidden rules, the exact ones every expert tells you not to break. And the moment she did, her world transformed. Are you ready to hear the secrets the professionals never talk about? Forbidden rule number 1, the first forbidden rule Dorothy broke: never start with sentimental items. Every decluttering expert screams this. They say, start with trash, old magazines, expired products. But here's what they don't understand. When you're over 60, everything feels sentimental. Dorothy proved them wrong by doing the exact opposite. She walked straight into her late husband Frank's workshop, the room that had been untouched for 2 years since his passing. Everyone told me to save it for last, Dorothy said, but I realized it was the room controlling my entire house. Here's why the emotional first approach works. When you tackle your hardest emotional challenge first, everything else becomes manageable. It's like ripping off the biggest Band-Aid. Suddenly, the smaller ones don't hurt anymore. Dorothy used what I call the memory box method. Here's exactly how it works. Step 1. Choose 5 items that truly capture the person's essence. Dorothy picked Frank's favorite hammer, his reading glasses, a photo of them dancing, his coffee mug, and a love note he'd left in his toolbox. Step 2. Photograph 20 meaningful items before letting them go. Dorothy took pictures of his entire tool collection, creating a digital memory book she could flip through any time. Step 3. Find purposeful homes for the rest. Instead of letting Frank's tools gather dust, Dorothy donated them to a local high school shop class. Frank would love knowing his tools are teaching young people, she realized. The breakthrough moment came when Dorothy found that love note. Clean up after yourself, sweetheart. Love you, Frank. She laughed for the first time in months. He was still taking care of me, even from his workshop. Within 4 hours, Dorothy had transformed the workshop into a bright reading nook. But more importantly, she'd made peace with her grief. I kept his memory, but released his stuff, she said. Have you been avoiding your most emotional space? Drop a heart in the comments if you have a room you haven't been able to face. You're braver than you think. Forbidden rule number 2. The second forbidden rule Dorothy shattered. Don't declutter in one day. Every expert preaches the slow approach. 15 minutes here, one drawer there. But Dorothy discovered this gradual method is actually what keeps seniors stuck forever. Here's the truth. When you're dealing with decades of accumulation, slow progress feels like no progress. You spend 3 weeks organising one closet while the rest of your house remains overwhelming. It's like trying to empty an ocean with a teaspoon. Dorothy introduced me to what she calls the lightning strike method, transforming one complete room in just 4 hours. I needed to see dramatic change to believe change was possible, she explained. The psychology is powerful. When you see one room completely transformed, your brain shifts from "this is impossible" to "I can do this." That momentum carries you through the entire house. Here's Dorothy's exact 4-hour process that changed everything. Hour 1. The Great Exodus. Remove everything that doesn't belong in that room. Dorothy tackled her living room first. Out went dishes, mail, laundry, tools, books from other rooms. I couldn't believe how much didn't belong there, she said. Hour 2. The Truth. Sort. Everything remaining gets sorted into 3 piles. Love it, use it, or lose it. Love it means it brings joy or serves your current life. Use it means you've used it in the past year. Everything else, lose it. Dorothy was ruthless. Her 47 decorative pillows became 8. Hour 3. Deep clean and arrange. With decisions made, Dorothy cleaned surfaces that hadn't seen daylight in years, then arranged her keepers thoughtfully. I forgot my coffee table was actually beautiful wood, she laughed. Hour 4. The victory lap. Step back and celebrate. Dorothy sat in her transformed living room with a cup of tea, something she couldn't do before because her chair was covered in papers. The key insight: your energy and decision-making power are strongest at the beginning. The gradual approach exhausts your emotional reserves before you see results. Dorothy's living room went from cluttered chaos to peaceful sanctuary in one Saturday afternoon. That evening, she called her daughter, "Come see what Mum accomplished today." Her daughter cried. She hadn't seen the living room furniture in 2 years. The lightning strike creates what Dorothy calls proof of concept, undeniable evidence that transformation is possible. It breaks the paralysis that keeps you stuck. Have you ever started organising gradually and lost steam? Comment yes if you've been there. Most of us have tried the slow approach and failed. Forbidden rule number 3, the third forbidden rule. Dorothy broke completely changed her family forever, never involve family in decisions. Most decluttering experts warn against this. They say family creates drama, slows you down, makes decisions harder. But Dorothy discovered the opposite was true. I was sneaking around my own house, Dorothy admitted, hiding donation bags in my car trunk because I was afraid my kids would object to everything I wanted to release. Sound familiar? Many seniors become decluttering ninjas, working in secret to avoid family conflicts. But this secrecy was exhausting Dorothy and creating more problems. Her adult children sensed something was happening, but felt shut out. Everything changed when Dorothy tried a radical approach, complete transparency through what she calls the Heritage Hour method. Dorothy invited her 3 adult children over for what she called a family memory meeting. She was terrified they'd try to stop her decluttering progress, but she explained her situation honestly. "I need to downsize to stay in this house. I want your help choosing what matters most to our family story." Here's exactly how the Heritage Hour works. Phase 1. The Story Share. Dorothy brought out items she was considering releasing and shared the story behind each one. Her grandmother's china set, Frank's military medals, boxes of family photos, and her mother's jewelry collection. Instead of just seeing stuff, her children heard the memories. Phase 2. The Family Choose. Each child could select items that were meaningful to them, but they had to commit to taking them home immediately. No, maybe someday storage at Mum's house. Sarah chose the china set, but promised to use it for holiday dinners, not store it in a cabinet. Phase 3. The heritage documentation. Before anything left the house, they spent time photographing items and recording Dorothy's stories about them. Michael used his phone to record Dorothy explaining each piece of jewellery, creating a digital legacy for future grandchildren. The transformation was incredible. What Dorothy expected to be a battle became a bonding experience. Her son said, "Mom, I never knew the story behind Grandpa's watch. Now it means something to me." Her daughter added, "I thought you were trying to erase Dad's memory, but now I see you're preserving what matters most." The china set became the perfect example. For 20 years, Dorothy's wedding china sat untouched in the dining room cabinet, too precious for everyday use, too precious to donate. During the Heritage Hour, Sarah shared that she'd always admired it, but assumed it would stay with Dorothy forever. "Take it and use it," Dorothy urged. "China that sits in a cabinet serves no one." Now Sarah hosts monthly family dinners using Grandma Dorothy's china, creating new memories with cherished pieces. But the biggest surprise, Dorothy's children became her biggest decluttering supporters. They understood her goals and started helping identify items that could find better homes. Michael took Frank's tools to his garage, Sarah adopted the china tradition, and youngest daughter Emma inherited Dorothy's sewing supplies for her quilting hobby. The Heritage Hour eliminated the guilt Dorothy felt about releasing items, because she knew meaningful pieces were staying in the family. It also prevented future conflicts. No one could later say, "Why did you get rid of Dad's things without asking us?" 6 months later, Dorothy's house was transformed. Her family relationships were stronger, and everyone understood that decluttering wasn't about forgetting the past. It was about honouring it while making space for the future. "My kids went from being obstacles to being my biggest cheerleaders," Dorothy reflected. They finally understood that keeping everything wasn't honouring their father's memory. Using and enjoying special pieces was. Have you been decluttering in secret to avoid family drama? Comment below. Are your adult children part of the solution or part of the problem? Let's help each other navigate these family dynamics. 30 days after breaking those 3 forbidden rules, Dorothy's life was completely transformed. Let me share the incredible results that will inspire you to start today. The numbers tell an amazing story. Dorothy reduced her belongings by 65% without a single regret. She cleared 6 complete rooms, donated 23 bags of clothes, and found homes for 15 boxes of meaningful items with family members. The numbers tell an amazing story. Dorothy reduced her belongings by 65% without a single regret. She cleared 6 complete rooms, donated 23 bags of clothes, and found homes for 15 boxes of meaningful items with family members. You know, the real transformation wasn't about stuff. It was about reclaiming her life. Safety improved dramatically. Dorothy could now walk through every room without navigating obstacle courses. For the first time in 3 years, Dorothy hosted Thanksgiving dinner. "I have a dining room table again," she celebrated. Dorothy's emotional transformation was remarkable. She picked up watercolour painting in what was once Frank's old workshop, now a bright, welcoming art studio filled with light and possibility. "I'm creating now instead of just preserving the past," Dorothy reflected. Her relationships with her children deepened in beautiful ways. Weekly family dinners returned, this time with Sarah proudly using the china she inherited. "My house finally feels like a home again, not a museum," Dorothy said, tears of happiness in her eyes. One of the most moving moments came when Dorothy's neighbour said, "You seem lighter, more like the Dorothy I used to know." With a grateful smile, Dorothy replied, "I finally have room to breathe, to live, and to truly be myself again." Through timeless wisdom, Dorothy's story is a reminder that real freedom sometimes comes from breaking the rules that never really fit your life. She went from feeling overwhelmed and alone to finding confidence and connection, simply by choosing her own path. Dorothy shows us it's never too late to reclaim your space or rewrite your story. Your home should be a foundation for your next chapter, not a reminder of what's behind you. If you found hope or motivation in Dorothy's journey, please like this video and share it with someone who's ready to break free from clutter. Subscribe to Timeless Wisdom for more genuine, practical solutions that work for real people just like you. Your transformation can start today.